Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 404. You like that? That was like...
Episode not found.
That's episode not found, exactly. You're getting a 404 for this one, folks. Yeah. My name is Russell Frost, and I have the pleasure of hosting this wonderful group of panelists on another episode of my favorite show about advanced technology, mobility, and sustainable energy. And I got that out in one breath. Yeah, I used to smoke. So let me introduce the panel and get this show on the road. Of course, Tony Schaefer's not here, taking the week off. Luckily for me, I have my other wingman, Georgia McKenzie.
Hey, everybody. I'm your wingman.
You're a wing. It's a good thing to be a wingman, isn't that? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are a good one.
I guess so. I mean, it basically just means that, you have your bros back, as it were.
As it were, yeah, and yeah.
I think so. I think it's a good thing.
You keep me on the straight and narrow, maybe more than have my back. Just saying.
That's never right there.
Just saying.
Russell's known to go off the tracks.
I've gone off the rails just about 404 episodes. Yeah, just about. And let's see. Next, it's funny. Patrick and I did a special show yesterday for our new membership tiers, which are rolling out very, very soon. And if you support the show for $1.99 a month, you can see exclusive member content like the more than hour-long conversation that Patrick and I had about his latest article on carswithcords.net. That is a really, really long way of introducing my friend in Portland, Patrick Connor.
Hello, everybody out there. Well, I don't know if you guys watched the Tesla Life earlier, but if you were watching it, during the show, I was drinking a tea, and when I picked it up, I ripped the tea bag, and it spilled a bunch of the dregs into my tea. But the show must go on, so here I am spitting out dregs, muting my mic. So I'm just going for it this time, and no tea. I'm having a beer. It's a narwhal, the unicorn of the ocean.
I love narwhals.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Narwhal? No, there's a great narwhal song, but I'm not going to sing it because no one out there deserves it. At least maybe Zach.
We don't want a copyright strike.
Yeah.
There's that too. Yeah. And speaking of copyright strikes, he is the founder of the Tesla Life and several other things. He is an electric vehicle activist. And my friend in Canada, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. And I thought of another reason for the wingman. That person is to get the lawyer calls during the show.
Super helpful.
Yes.
Helpful. Believe me.
Keeps us on the straight and narrow. Absolutely.
Yeah, that lawyer has to call way too often. We're keeping them employed.
Yeah. And the
you
sad
think
part...
after 404 shows, we'd have it down pat. You would think.
Nope.
The sad part is the only words that I know in respect to that attorney is pro bono. So, 10 years, no money.
If you're a lawyer willing to work for $1.99 a month, give us a call.
Absolutely. Well, someone who works for considerably more than $1.99 a month. He is the founder and owner and operator of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, glad to be back. And unfortunately, I'm not drinking a craft beer today. I do have a beer, but it is Colorado's infamous Coors. So better than drinking water.
You're in the right state for that.
And was that a customer gift?
Yes. Unfortunately, we try to tell them we like craft beer, but we say we want something from Colorado to support the local industry. So she brought us Coors.
Coors, yeah. Well, I mean, at least there was the intent was there, right?
Yes, the intent was there.
The intent was there. And speaking of intent...
Next time she comes in, her car won't have any oil in it. But, just kidding.
Or it'll have the wrong or it'll have the wrong oil in it.
No, we would never do that.
Did I ever tell you about the time one of my first jobs? I drove a forklift and I put gas in the oil thing. That was a bad mistake.
Yeah.
I was very young. I was only like 8. And speaking of not working as a child, our friend of the Mid-Atlantic region, the supercharger expert, nationally acknowledged, Mr. Casey Green.
What's up, everybody? So we went from a degree above freezing for the Tesla Life to we're now solidly below freezing and have entered our winter storm watch warning again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my wife redecorated the shelf.
She did a very nice. I noticed also, Casey, that you're sort of taking a very kind of like in the corner. The furniture is the main focus.
She also moved my camera.
Yay!
Smart man, just roll with it. Don't complain. Just thank you, dear.
Good for her.
Absolutely.
Good for her.
Smart.
Well, I want to start off again, and forgive me if I'm a little redundant, but do remind you that we're going to be rolling out membership tiers, and for now, at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to have one tier because I don't have a lot of other goodies to throw you, and the idea of like making $1.99 a month, $1.99, less than $2, you can support the show and get access to exclusive membership content like Patrick's and my special show yesterday. You'll get the unfiltered review commentary from me in the car on the Mirai review, which is going up very soon. So if you want to hear more than an hour of me babbling while driving the Mirai, I don't know why you'd pay $1.99 for that, but God bless you for even considering it. So do look into down below. Yeah. Do consider supporting the show and helping us and getting some cool stuff out of the deal. One other thing I wanted to, Patrick uniquely entitled my chance to kind of ramble at the beginning of the show is Russell's Rant. And there was a bunch of things. I've been catching up listening to some podcasts, and one of them is Ed Niedermeyer's Autonocast, which, by the way, no matter what you think of Ed, the Autonocast is a brilliant show that has super important people in that field. Do check out the Autonocast. It's a great show. And
I wouldn't call it Ed Niedermeyer's Autonocast. I mean, he is on the show. He is one of the but yeah, it's not like it's the Ed show. I mean, come on.
Ed Niedermeyer, Kirsten Korosek, the TechCrunch's mobility editor, and Alex Roy from the Human Driving Association and Argo AI. All wonderful people, smart people. And again, they get on the movers and the shakers in this business and talk to them. And they have some great discussions. One of the things that came from one of those discussions is sort of dovetailed into another thing that's been bubbling in the back of my head. And that's that we talk a lot about what car company is going to save us or who's going to, is it, we need to move we need to buy more Teslas or we need to buy more Leafs or whatever it is. And the truth is, in my opinion, and that's what this is, we're not going to car our way out of this. What we need are fewer cars, fewer, better cars. We need more electric cars. We need more partial zero emission vehicles, more hybrids, whatever, plug-in hybrids. We need to get away from pure gas cars, but we also need fewer cars. We need to look at better mass transit that works for everybody. That's how we're going to reduce our carbon footprint. And by the way, just as a weird little side thing, we make things better for everybody everywhere if we have better transit that everyone can access, not just people who can afford a car. That's it. That's all I got.
And shipping, trucks and ships. We got to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Paul has our first story, and oddly enough, it's about Norway.
Yeah. Some of you may have seen the Will Ferrell GM Super Bowl ad. Kind of cute, but the gist of it was, hey, Norway, you guys are leading the world in EV adoption, where I think over 50% of new cars are EVs. GM's coming to get you. And interestingly enough, GM doesn't sell cars in Norway anymore. Not EVs, not any cars.
Whoops.
So Ford put out their own little piece, via Twitter, whatever, that shows that not only does Ford sell cars in Norway, they actually sell EVs already in Norway. The Mach-E is for sale today in Norway. So I'm going to share the little Ford's little comeback for the Norwegian market here. Let me see if I can get this going.
They just come on and go, hey, yeah.
Right?
But the cool thing was, at least it got people talking about EVs. Can you all see this screen? I'm trying to find the...
Yeah.
Where is it?
No.
Here it is. Okay.
I see it.
Da, 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 da.
It's muted though.
Oslo, Norway.
Yeah, they'll have subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Oslo, Norway. Oh,
Here's some pizza.
the Norwegian Parliament. Why am I narrating this? No one cares.
I'm not sure what the pizza
The
connection
Norwegian
was.
countries. There was something
They
about
are
the Prime Minister
horrible
of Norway.
pineapple people.
We'll save you a bite.
They're talking about the
You
size
should
of
try
the
your
pie.
pineapple pizza with pepperoni if you eat meat.
Oh.
It is a great combo. Better than that ham stuff.
Okay. So
Yeah.
apparently,
Hey, Casey, calm down.
I think we're looping.
Yeah,
You're
we're
looking.
looking. But anyway,
It's
pretty
pretty
cool that and they put this together in a few days and shot it quite professionally. It was like Ford of Norway put this out. Pretty cool. But if you haven't seen the Will Ferrell piece, it's on YouTube. It's kind of fun. Cool,
Audi
the whole
came back
world
as
is
well.
watching.
That was funny too.
Yeah, there were some good responses to that. I think it's a little tone deaf on GM's part to even they were setting up this whole America's behind in this race. Well, in large part because of actions by GM. So, come on. Well, I mean, that's just I don't know. I was wondering if they really thought about that. If they weren't on the side of the Trump administration to block California's ZEV mandates and other lawsuits they've had against the state that required EVs, that we might be a lot further along here. Instead, Norway's kicking our ass, and that's what you're complaining about? And it's in part your fault? Come on.
How dare you make us make EVs after we show you that we can do it? We're going to drag our feet and stop our. Yeah, we're going to have a temper tantrum about it.
And it would have been funny if they would have said, "Oh, and that other American car company, Tesla, is selling, X per capita Teslas in Norway compared to the U.S. or whatever."
That would have been some nice goodwill that I can't see them doing.
Right.
Yeah. Goodwill Super Bowl advertising.
Yes.
Something that never, ever takes place. I try not to pay. I mean, like I used to kind of get into the whole fervor of the like, wow, here's $1 billion commercial. I just don't care anymore. Like, and to see Ford and GM fussing at each other, good for them. I guess. I don't know.
Well, and Ford is kind of winning right now. I mean, the Mach-E is shipping. I've heard of people taking delivery, and it exists. Yeah. It's real. So, and it doesn't look like it's that bad of a car. I haven't personally seen one or driven one, but I would love to. So.
Yeah, and Ford's response. Ford's going to get a lot of views because this is in response to that Super Bowl ad, and yet they didn't have to spend Super Bowl ad money to get the attention. That's smart on their part.
Yeah. And they got the local group to do the ad too. So
absolutely,
it probably worked for pizza.
Black and forth. It's a cute back and forth, and it's like it draws attention to it. I think, and especially considering it's a Super Bowl, and everybody seems to love rivalry. So I don't know, it's fun. Although pineapple and ham on pizza is
really good.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but pepperoni's better. And I'm a veggie.
Pineapple? No.
Yeah.
You're on the West Coast, Russell. You're required to enjoy pineapple on pizza in California.
I'm just gonna look at all of you.
I will never order a pizza that doesn't have pineapple.
The other thing you gotta look at is you don't want that canned, sliced, whole pineapple garbage. That's nasty.
Little
cubes. Yeah,
you never order a pizza without pineapple?
No.
Yeah, same.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Plain cheese.
Everybody eats pineapple.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it?
It was your time in Berkeley that ruined you, wasn't it? That's what it did. It. I mean, like, no. I don't. No.
You should try it. It's good.
No. Pineapple does not belong on pizza. No.
It does.
No.
It's got tomato on there. That's a fruit.
No. I'm gonna. I love pizza and I feel strongly about it, but no pineapple. I mean,
knock it till you tried it.
Good for all of you that enjoy it. I hope you get all the pineapple pizza and eat it.
Russell, you're sounding like an ICE car driver who says, "I'm never going to get one of those electric cars."
Yeah, drink. He's a curmudgeon drink.
I guarantee I will never eat pineapple pizza. And yeah, go ahead and drink, everybody. No. No, pineapple. Yeah.
You're never gonna even try it, Russell? That sounds a little closed-minded.
No, it's just
Wow.
no.
Hey,
At
Russell,
least try it and say I tried it. I didn't like it.
I don't have to.
Or I'm allergic to pineapple. Something.
But George is shaking her head.
That Italian place that we went and ate in San Diego, would they serve pineapple on their pizza if you asked?
Yes.
No,
Yeah, they usually accommodate people, but
no.
No, I bet you it's even on their menu. I bet you it's there.
The only
Usually-
time I haven't been able, I went to Georgia, the state of Georgia, in the 90s, and I tried to order Hawaiian pizza, and they just yelled at me.
As they should. No, again, I don't care.
Jaja, not Hawaii.
I don't care that other people love pineapple pizza. I just no, it's not even a question. I'm not. I love
It's
gummy
more-
bears.
It's more for them. I'm happy for you. You can have all of that for
Yes.
you.
I'm just sad you guys won't even try it.
No,
Oh,
don't be sad.
because I have taste buds and they work.
Yeah,
So I don't eat those things. But if you like it, more for you. I am.
If you're a fan of ham and pineapple, try
No.
pepperoni and pineapple. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry. Oh, it's terrible to put that with pepperoni.
Oh,
Honest
okay.
pepperoni.
All right, next topic.
my palate cleanser here is going to be Patrick Connor, who has our next story that isn't about pineapple pizza. I hope.
That we know of.
Challenge accepted. Okay, so this
Yeah, exactly. I'm so screwed.
This is from Inside EVs, and it is titled AirStream to make electric assist camper for EVs. So this is a great idea. Right now, if you pull a camper, which we have with our Model X, it significantly reduces your range. You've got a extra weight, a big non-aerodynamic brick back there. And so with a bunch of electric trucks coming out over the next year or two, they are thinking, hey, there's a lot of people that like to use their trucks to pull their campers to go and enjoy the wilderness. And they might want to have a few hundred miles of range while they're doing that to get to someplace nice and remote. So AirStream is seriously looking at this. They said it has moved beyond the concept phase, and that they have a path that they think it's really going to happen. So stay tuned. And then the cool thing is, it's not just AirStream that's looking at this. You guys might have heard that Lordstown Motors has teamed up with Camper World, and so that's probably going to be how some of their vehicles are distributed. And Camper World might want to sell you a camper with that. And the idea of having an electric assist is a really cool one, because it means that the camper will have some way of detecting what the tow vehicle is doing, and then work with it. And some of them are just more aerodynamic, like there's one called Polydrop that's designed as a small camper for EVs. So being super aerodynamic means that it doesn't hit your range as much. And then this is an example where they're actually talking about having electric motors and a battery pack as part of the camper. Now, are they going to offer Tesla supercharger compatible and CCS compatible, or have adapters, or all those things are yet to be released? But this is just a really cool idea, because my goal is to get everybody driving electric, and that means whatever you want to do with your vehicle, there should be an option for that. And this is just one more way to make EVs more available and accessible and do more. And they're talking about specifically the vehicles that are coming out: the Tesla Cybertruck, the Rivian R1T, the Lordstown Endurance, the GMC Hummer EV, the Ford F-150 electric. And all of these are going to have towing capability, and hopefully there will be some really cool campers to go with it.
Oh yes, I liked that German one we saw last year that had the 100 kilowatt hour battery, and the drive axles would help out.
Yeah.
You could even do it so that the camper would be self-contained, i.e., its battery and would have its own motors to help pull it along.
Yeah.
And then when you're going down the mountain, would regen itself. Cool.
Whenever it gets a signal from the brake
you wouldn't need really to hook it to the car. If it was smart enough, it would detect, what speed to go and all that. So the car would be towing
autonomous trailer.
Well, In theory, the car would be tolling a zero weight.
Right.
Load.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
my trailer arrived at my campsite before me.
No, but I think about it like an
seriously
electric,
though, if you
electric
get the signal,
assist bike.
yeah, if you get the signal from the brake controller or the brake lights come on, regen.
Or just it could have a radar scan that tracks the thing in front of it and just goes to that speed.
Yeah, or even just within the tongue, right?
Force
it can
sensor.
tell whether the ball is pushing on the front or the back, and respond accordingly.
Yeah, they have inertia based trailer brakes right now. When you stop and it goes forward, it applies the brakes. So
Right.
You know what else is good? This is good for boondocking. You get some solar panels up top. It refills itself while you're out and about, and then it's ready to go on the return trip without having to hit a plug.
Yeah, because that's likely to have a lot.
If you're at the campground for 2 or 3 days, it's fully charged by the time you leave.
Right. Even if you're only getting 15 or 20 miles a day, if you're there for an extended period of time, that's a useful amount. And maybe you even have a 120 outlet and you can charge your EV.
Yeah.
Even if you're in the middle of nowhere.
Or run your blender or whatever.
That's so I mean, there's a lot of people that carry big trailers, fifth wheels or whatever you want to call them, that have been looking at putting battery packs in their trailers, because of course the first thing they do when they go somewhere that has it, most of these camping places, they plug in, right? So that they have electricity in their trailer. Well, if they had storage, then when they're out in remote places, obviously that storage would be super useful. Again, super useful while you're driving, perhaps.
Yeah.
Obviously they'd have to work directly with the manufacturer. Otherwise, there's no way to get the electricity from the trailer to the vehicle while it's moving.
Right.
But that's not something that's insurmountable. That's, as far as I know, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be out there in the wilderness looking at some creatures and not have to fire up a generator and scare them off.
Well,
right. Yeah, generators are loud.
Depends on the
smelly
creatures, though.
Yeah.
If they're hungry bears, you probably want to scare.
Yeah, you can bring a noisemaker if you really want one, but to depend on one, it'd be nice to be able to be quiet in the woods and not disturb everybody around you. I've been camping in state parks where, at 6 a.m. someone cranks up their generator, and I just went to bed 3 hours earlier because we were up drinking beer around the campfires late. That's no fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they fired up the generator, because you kept them up.
Were you singing, Patrick? Tell me the truth. Were you singing around the campfire?
It's a secret. It's a secret.
I was going to say, because I think I was the next campsite over and I didn't appreciate it. Let's go to our friend Mark Coughlin for This Week in Tesla.
This Week in Tesla. Got a ton of stuff.
Nothing happened, right, Mark? Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
But I'm just going to focus on one big event, and that, of course, was the Joe Rogan podcast. Third time that Elon was on the show. This time he went for almost 3.5 hours of discussion. Had to break it up so I could listen to it 3 times, because it was a long one. But some of the things he touched upon was that Elon apparently has approached the Biden administration about getting a carbon tax applied, and apparently the Biden administration believes that's a hill too tall to take at this particular point in time. They don't think they can do that. Although there's some great advantages to applying a carbon tax, they're not interested at this particular point. Their plates are full, and they don't believe that could be done in the time that they have allotted. Another point of interest is that next gen Roadster that's going to be coming out shortly is apparently going to hover. So when we talk about flying cars, that's the start of it. They're going to have a Roadster with a SpaceX package that will hover about 3 feet off the ground. Of course, safety is a concern. And there is going to be some, certainly some engineering that's going to be required, but using cold gas thrusters, apparently that is where the Roadster is heading with the SpaceX package.
I wonder if he's just tired of hearing people ask, where's my flying car? It's right here. Give me 250 grand. Sorry, more.
Yeah, more.
Hang on. Is it April 1st?
No.
Nope. It's not April 1st.
It should be.
It's not the first time he said it either, so I think he's trying.
Yeah, I think that's going to be available.
You know, that shit's funny when you're really high, but Otherwise,
he wasn't really high
smoking
this
on the
time.
show.
Arguably drunk, but not really high.
Yeah. So a question then, is that going to be regulated by NHTSA or
God,
FAA?
no.
Or both?
No, it's not going to be FAA. It's
That's
not going to
funny,
be
Casey.
FAA for sure.
Not that
it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly like that. It's
Not
just
for
going
long.
to be it's just going to be the beginning of it. Next, he talked a little bit about the Cybertruck and Austin, Texas factory. Apparently, there is going to be pickups at the factory, so you can order your truck, drive it off the lot and into the sunset, the Texas sunset as it is. That is going to be available.
Except there's no power to charge it in Texas.
Oh, Paul.
Well, the SpaceX factory and presumably the Tesla factory will have batteries and solar, because that's how they were able to actually do their business today.
I am sure you will be leaving the factory with a full charge.
That too.
Right.
I am sure. Next,
Just may
talk
not
a little
get
bit
more
about
than 300 miles away.
Next, they talked a
Let's
little
get
bit
the
about
short range.
the Model S Plaid and its amazing figures of 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.96 seconds that it's already been timed at. So the Plaid that's going to be coming out in a month or so is going to, I guess that's summer. It's going to be having this top speed that only the Roadster was supposed to have, but now this four-door sedan is going to have that same speed. So we don't know what the top speed of the Roadster will be. It'll just be better. So we'll have to wait for that. Semi, another piece of information about the 300-mile Semi. Apparently, it's going to come with a 500 kilowatt battery. And that number is a bit lower than what most experts were expecting for 300 miles of range in a Semi pulling a full-size trailer with 80,000 pounds. This revelation was made talking about how efficient they're getting with the drivetrains, the battery packs, and the storage on board. So this is kind of surprising that they're getting away with less batteries to get the same mileage that they had promised a couple of years ago. There will be another version of the vehicle that will have a 500-mile range and obviously a larger battery, but no information was given on that during the show. And go ahead, Paul.
I was just say, did they say how much the battery pack weighs?
They did not get into a weight, no. But that could probably be found out because, of course, the Model S has a 100 kilowatt battery pack. So if you found out the weight of that on the Tesla website somehow, you could just times it by 5 and know what it will be.
Times 5 minus some of the shell material.
Yeah. And finally, Elon talked a little bit about the difference of opinion between him and Bill Gates about the Semi, about Bill saying that the vehicle will not work. You can't pull that type of a weight. You can't have that size of a battery and be effective. Elon's kind of perplexed at that because, of course, he's been working on the project for a couple of years now. He knows it's going to work. They're going to start manufacturing these vehicles this year. When asked why does Bill think differently, the only explanation that Elon had was that Bill's not operating with all the information at his fingertips. He's talking about something that he has not explored in any great detail, Elon believes. And then another little bit of information about Bill Gates. Elon has apparently been told that Bill has been shorting Tesla stock.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, he's been being told this by others, and the question is why. We don't know. But when that show went out, the next day, Bill was doing an interview and went out of his way to praise Elon and the strides that Tesla has taken towards pushing the country in a greener direction. So not really sure what this is all about, but there's some stirring of the pot between Bill and Elon, and it seems to be continuing. So we'll have to see if more breaks on that story. And if you would like to keep up with more Tesla news, you can follow us at the Tesla Life on Twitter, or you can also subscribe to the Tesla Life show on YouTube.
Absolutely, you can. Just remember, never put pineapple on pizza.
Back to that.
Where did that come from?
He was reading the sidebar.
I was reading the sidebar, straight out of my butt.
Hang on. Let's ask the subscribers.
Yes.
Post comments in the comment section down below. Do you like pineapple on pizza? Let's
Absolutely.
See.
Even better. Russell is going to put in the community tab. He's going to put a poll: pineapple or no pineapple, and you can vote.
Then you should do the real it's Hawaiian pizza, which is pineapple and ham.
Yeah, Hawaiian's okay, but pepperoni's better.
Variant of pineapple with pepperoni.
So 3, no pineapples, Hawaiian, and Casey.
Oh, how about if you subscribe, become a member, and you can ask Russell to eat a Hawaiian pizza on air.
No, you can't. You can ask, but that answer is always going to be no.
What's your price, Mr. Frost?
Yeah, no.
No, come on. The platinum subscribers should get to watch you eat
Yeah. The $1 million per month platinum subscriber. Okay? Because, you're going to watch me eat and then vomit. That's the way that's going down, kids.
Maybe I'll give you my flatbread olive oil with seasoning. Pizza. Nice and crispy, done on a grill.
But no pineapple.
I don't buy pizza. I make tons of pizzas.
Nice. We should have a pizza party episode.
Ooh, we should have Georgia cook that in the members section.
Absolutely. Georgia's quite the gourmet, right? That much I've watched her cook on Twitter for years.
Nice.
Yeah, so. You caught me in my. I think I'm just gonna make a bunch of jams and syrups phase. That's really.
Yeah. I did get a very nice Christmas present of some delicious candied bacon from her one year. That was 3 years ago, I think. But yeah.
Have you earned your Christmas gift? That is the question you always.
No, I do not deserve any gifts from anyone.
Just Cole.
Especially if it's pineapple on pizza. I don't deserve that.
We've got 10 months.
You deserve that. You out there who enjoy it deserve all of that. Well, let's move this show forward. Georgia has the next few stories. So I'm going to just kind of sit back and let Georgia take the mic and run with it.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Is it? Wow.
Always a big mistake.
Well, okay.
So I'm going to actually share my screen because I think we need to take a little look at what's happening in Texas. Yes.
Texas? Something's happening in Texas, Georgia?
Everything's happening in Texas. Hey, look, there's the highway.
That was the highway.
On it.
With people walking on it?
Technically, people are walking probably because they're cars or they can't get around because cars are frozen. Doors are shut. Hey, look.
That one right there is scary.
Apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's frozen in the faucet.
Wow.
Here's a pool. Oh, look, the hot tub is frozen. Frozen toilet water. Always frozen toilet water.
Whoa.
Nice.
That is not going to end well. No. I can tell you right now, just go on ahead and put in the order for a new toilet.
Yeah.
Hey, look, not only is it frozen in the faucet and the faucet right here. Hey, look, that's ice. It's actually jacked up. And the dish soap is frozen. Frozen olive oil.
Oh,
Goodbye,
poor fishes.
Oh,
damn.
No. That's sad.
This Houston, frozen dog water. The bathtub that they stored water in. Nope. Hey, there's the pool again. And the laptop.
Whoa.
Wow.
This is the freeway. This is water. I mean, okay, this is the beach. Car wash
frozen.
Oh, yeah.
Frozen cactus. That's ironic.
Yeah.
So that one there, the apartment with the fan, they are going to have a world of trouble with that thing, fellas.
I actually, somebody, a friend's friend, her apartment collapsed.
Oh, no.
They had to escape. This is an indoor waterfall.
Yeah, I've heard people are getting leaks, and the only reason the leaks are stopping is because the water is frozen. So you know it's going to be bad later.
So let me stop sharing.
And that's not even counting the homeless people who had to be out in this.
we're at 10 deaths, and somebody just announced that they found a woman frozen to death on the sidewalk. So it's not a joke. And I understand how our desire to revel in a little Schadenfreude for red states who are currently undergoing this.
Red state politicians we're laughing at, not the people.
Stop.
No, yeah, that's just it's the people who are the most disadvantaged who are going to suffer the most, and that's not the people who are in charge of the politics. That's the influence. I'm
also going to remind you that the largest blocks of Black people are in these states, and they are often the ones who are being gerrymandered and voter suppressed. So, which is why you have Republican control of these states. Moving on, but what do we need to know about why this is happening in Texas, and how does that reflect what we do right here in What Drives Us? Well, here's the story of why Texas is so fucked. Texas, in its infinite wisdom and its desire to be that annoying kid, that annoying brother or sister you have that always has to be disobedient and have their own way, you know that one, and usually they get away with it. Hi, Chad. Oh, no. Actually, that's my brother's name, so yes, my brother is Chad, but it's really Craig. Craig. So Texas decided that it did not want to be either part of the Western grid, which is us on the West Coast here, or the Eastern grid, which is just about everybody else, as part of the electrical grid. Texas wanted its own grid. And so Texas, in its infinite wisdom, decided we're going to have just us Texas, the ERCOT management group for its grid. And the reason why is because they also didn't want to be subject to federal regulation.
That part.
The most wonderful thing in the world is not having to obey any rules, and you can put it together with wishes and duct tape and a little bit of string and gumption, and you can have a power grid. And we've been coasting on the fact that we think that nothing's going to happen to us for years. And all it took was one out of season, extremely different, dangerous. Oh, a little thing like maybe a little climate change might be causing, but and this has happened, and you literally have millions of people without power, without heat. And what is safe in Texas? Well, if you're in El Paso, you're doing pretty well. You know why? Because El Paso said to your private individual grid, we're joining the Eastern grid. So yes, they're dealing with the cold, but they do have power. But everybody else is screwed. Houston had power, and you had a beautiful empty set of skyline buildings all lit up with power. Everywhere else where people are residential, no power. Why is that? And all I can say is, dear God, how do we help Texas? Because it's not just, right now there's an immediate crisis need for help. And luckily, we have an actual president who is not sitting there going, well, did the governor make nice to me? Did we all say nice noises about, his hair or something? So FEMA is working on it. But I have many questions as a person who actually went through FEMA training when I worked for a municipality, because a lot of these people should have been evacuated. And if we have power in downtown Houston, there should have been some work on the ground. I can't speak to how it's coordinated and organized in Texas. I only know what I know about local municipalities. But one of the key things in incident management is that, one, this was known. This storm coming was known. So nobody can come back and say, well, they didn't know, they weren't anticipating it. No, they knew. They knew that this was coming. So it looks like they did not prepare adequately at all. They did not weatherize. I think I even downloaded a picture of let me do this. Also share this with you guys. This is the natural gas that's supposed to be People are talking about windmills. No, this is the natural gas stations. This is how they look. That's why they're not working. It's 80% natural gas and coal, if I remember correctly. I might have that figure wrong. I read several articles on this one. So
yeah, that was the part that upset me. Right now, people are dying. Let's not worry about was it this or that caused it, and let's worry about trying to get power to people that they need so that they don't freeze to death. And then after that, yes, let's deal with the problems. And the fact that there's already Tucker Carlson out there saying it's wind turbines that cause this problem, he can kiss my ass. That is just such bullshit. The biggest problem is that transmission lines are going down, so they're not able to shift electricity from areas that have it to areas that need it, and that they've had multiple failures. Even the nuclear and coal plants that they have in the state, which aren't very many, are having transmission line problems. And because they've had 100-car pileups on the freeways, the people that need to get there to repair it can't get there. And so it's just problem on top of problem with their grid system. And as you mentioned, they're not interconnected with anybody else that could help them. I'm sure that right now that New Mexico is probably not having similar problems and could give some power to parts of Texas, but they're not interconnected to do so. And just like you said, Georgia, this was not a surprise. They had 48-hour ahead of time storm warning, and this is just they have a unregulated for-profit system, and what that does is it runs in the minimal amount to meet most of the time for profitability. It's not worried about redundancy and backup and all these things like this that happen, once in a 100-year catastrophe. They're not building out for that because that costs a lot of extra money and cuts into profits. So yeah, that's the real problem. There are certain things that like water supply and air that should not be for-profit industries, and electricity it falls into that. In so many people are absolutely dependent on it for their life. Yeah, it's horrible.
I also wanted to point out that the east and west grids are connected to Canada, so really did this to themselves here.
Real disaster.
And you know that the Canada grid, cold weather is probably not a problem for them. They
Right.
kind of have had, they've heard of that before. It's not a surprise.
I love people who've been showing pictures of fully functioning windmills in Antarctica.
Yep.
Canada,
Antarctica, Dakotas, Alaska, Norway.
The problem, and I am very passionate on this because I keep seeing the way how this has, this is not, to me, the loss of one innocent life is too much loss. It's going to be much worse because we're talking about not just a few houses, we're talking about almost an entire state. We're talking about serious emergency consequences in hospitals. We're talking about shelters where they can't keep people warm and you can't get to the shelter. And the grifting of hotels charging something like $1,000 a night for a room. So this is serious.
Price gouging absolutely should be illegal. And if people are doing it, they should be prosecuted for it.
They should be prosecuted.
Yeah,
but
we talked at the end of the last show. And
the investments we've been needing to make in America goes back to when I was a kid around Reagan's time, where it's like we have missed so much opportunity because people want to play nickel and dime about investment in the future of America and for American society. And I know I've talked about it here before, that discussing policy and what we need to do is that we always fail to speak asshole, to really lay it out in terms that are based on the fact that not that we're all altruistic saints, but that a good portion of us are unrepentant, selfish assholes.
fuck you, I got mine.
basically, and we have to start phrasing sustainability to that extent, because the consequences to everybody to build policy around cheapness, around, no, this is mine and you can't have it. This is going to be writ large in Texas, going on for I don't know how long. I don't know how many lives are going to be affected. But the thing is that I've seen people talk about how they want to move to Texas so they can be free of taxes. Civilization costs something. It doesn't come out of anywhere. It's not magic. It doesn't go poof and suddenly there it is. It is something that requires investment. In Texas right now, you are seeing the consequences of investment. And if we don't start getting people in office and getting people to understand that investment in infrastructure and also development of new energy technologies and methods to get that around, and investment in the grid, investment in public transportation, investment in proper water storage and water pipes. It's not about some other dude over there might benefit. I know that's often what stops those investments, is the idea that some person I don't like will get a piece of this. So what's the point if I pay it in? I'm not the only one who's going to benefit. That's a selfish asshole mentality, and I see it here all the time, dealing with just about, well, Lord knows I spent 7 years with planning commission and watching that happen. You know, you want to put up a homeless shelter or a drop-in center? Wait, all those people who thought it was a great idea when you were running for office, let's see what happens when you actually have a concrete plan and a location and it's a little too close to their home. But you know what?
NIMBYism, yep.
NIMBYism. And it's like, we need this investment, and we need to actually sit back and just deal with ahead of time the sticker shock, because mark my words, we've had enough bridges dropping and just enough things failing. America is long overdue for not a cosmetic overhaul, but a serious structural overhaul, because this Texas is getting the worst of it, but this chill has hit multiple southern states, and they're all dealing with extreme cold and infrastructure where we didn't even have to put that much insulation in our housing or in our apartments, because it's a warm place, and we figured it'll never get cold, right? Wrong. I don't know what we're gonna. I mean, and then how do you push back against this misinfo? Because Patrick's right. People who are addicted to right-wing thought and propaganda are not hearing that it's oil and gas and these things. They're hearing that it's the Green New Deal. Ladies
Lies
and
spit
gentlemen,
faster than truth.
the Green New Deal is literally like, I wrote down on my wall, I will grow 6 inches taller, become a fashion model, and lose 40 more pounds so I can be 110.
Right. If anybody thinks the Green New Deal is what put Texas's electrical grid in place, you weren't paying attention. That's Texas. Come on. They were not defined by the Green New Deal.
Well, the Green New Deal is actually just nothing.
Yes.
It's a non-binding statement of intention. There is no legislation. There's no policy. Anybody who wants to learn about policy, you can actually go look up what a law looks like on the record, and you can read through it and see. You can see the difference. A law is this much pages because they have to write it all out. A Green New Deal is like a 2-page, 3-page document. That's not a law. There's no policies. There's nothing to do. It's just, hey, this would be nice. So I think we're going to have a lot of setback, at least in public opinion, because some people are going to come back and keep talking about how it's the windmill's fault, or it's not, they just totally broke down because Texas, of all places, was totally committed to green energy.
the oil capital of the country.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm going to bring it back to cars here for a second.
Yeah.
We see this in Colorado a lot. People move here from California, Florida, Texas, and they call the shop, say, my windshield washers don't work anymore. And the reason is the windshield washer fluid they use in the southern states doesn't have antifreeze in it.
Right.
And they get up here and it gets free. So think about all these millions of Texans who can't clean their windshields right now. because their windshield washer's frozen. So something to be concerned about. If you're in a place that gets below freezing, make sure your windshield washer fluid is safe for below freezing temperatures. I'm sure, Mark, everything they sell in Canada is antifreeze in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to give the PSA that about running your car in your garage. So there are some people who have been so cold, they think it's a good idea to go out and get in their car and start it and turn on the heater. And like, oh, good, I'm warm, and now I can take a nap. And that's the last nap they ever take because they don't wake up. So, don't do that.
Sure, the car is outside.
Make sure the car is outside. Make sure the tailpipe is not blocked by snow, because if it is, those emissions can back up and you can still die in your car, even if you're outside. That has happened to many people. And don't be the next one. If you're one of our viewers, we want to keep you.
Yep. It doesn't matter if it's a hybrid or a plug-in. That if it takes any sort of liquid fuel at any time,
if it has a tailpipe,
Yeah.
don't let it run anywhere where you're going to be inhaling that. Those are poisonous gases, and they will kill you.
And
in your
speaking
garage.
of tailpipes, your furnace for your house, if you have gas heat, make sure that's clear.
Yes. Yeah. Don't bring
don't
a generator
run the
into
generator
your house.
in the house. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Paul and I are in the same. Yeah. If you have a generator, it has to be outside, and you can run a cord in to run your little electric heater, and that's great. But make sure that the thing that has an exhaust is outside. Don't bring your hibachi barbecue in your apartment
or your
Bunsen
camp
burners,
stove.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I actually wanted to ask you guys some questions because I had a lot of questions based on some of the things I'm seeing from people. So, Paul, one's for you. When that cleaning fluid freezes inside the system of the cars, do they risk damage? Because I was wondering about that myself, and also the batteries.
Unlikely, because most of those systems are rubber and plastic, and as the water freezes and expands, it's not going to burst the pipes. I mean, there's a chance of it, but I don't think I've seen that. But the system is frozen, so it won't work. So on a snowy day, you can't clear your windshield or keep it clear as you're driving down, and debris gets pushed up on your glass. So you got to keep pulling over and wiping it with a rag. So it's not safe. It's not a good situation.
Is that why so many of them switch to that flippy cap instead of the screw cap? So you can push it up?
No, it's probably cheaper.
No. Oh, it's just cheaper.
Fair enough. And the only way to really fix it is to get the car in a warm garage, let it thaw out, drain the system, put in around here, the stuff they sell is good to minus 20 degrees. So it's not going to freeze. I don't know in Canada if it's,
minus 40.
More robust. Yeah. But you kind of need your windows to be clean when you're driving, especially when it's snowing out.
Yeah, you don't want to be sticking your head out the window when it's 0 degrees.
Yeah, or have minimal visibility in icy conditions. It's just not going to end well.
Yeah, I don't stick my head out the window because I've seen Hereditary. So
I went to energy.gov, and the Mexican grid is connected to California. So,
oh, interesting.
Okay. Hey, Texas is independent.
So also, Texas is completely independent. All right, and Patrick and Casey. So you guys have batteries attached to your solar. Now, one of the things that we were discussing on Twitter was whether or not the capacity of the battery could last for as long as it looks like you're going to have power. Because, I mean, if you're dealing with heavy snow, maybe, I don't know, Mark, do you have solar? But if you're dealing with that kind of snow and ice, how's that going to work with collecting and storing? And how long could your batteries actually last?
I'm going to go first because Patrick did the math.
Go ahead.
My solar system, typically when it was snowing, it would have reduced output, same as if it was raining, except for that one time we had fluffy snow, followed by rain, and then the sunset, and I had ice on my system for 3 days. At that point, it was enough to run one light bulb for about 4 days. But the Powerwalls and everybody else's batteries do have heaters in them. And take it away, Patrick.
Yes, so we have solar panels, and I have 3 Tesla Powerwalls on the side of my house. And why 3? So I wanted to have at least 24 hours of power if we had no solar. And Valentine's Day, we had an ice storm. and then we had a couple inches of snow on top of that ice. So I was getting no solar. And then that evening we lost power. So luckily the power walls were at 100%, and that's because they were in storm watch mode, which means they charge up to 100%. And we lost power for 2 hours and 35 minutes. And during that 2 hours and 35 minutes, they drained from 100% down to 81%. So, do that math times 5, and they would only last 13 or 14 hours, which is not the 24 hours I expected. And Casey just gave away the reason why. The batteries that I have are outside. They're on the outside of our house. And when it's super cold like that, batteries have to warm themselves up before they can even operate. So there's some power loss going there. So I wish I would have gone for 5 or 6, but they're kind of spendy. And so knowing what I know now, it worked out great. And then the next day, the sun came out. I was sitting here in my office, and this big loud noise as a big sheet of ice slid off the roof and off the solar panels, and then boom, my solar production popped on real fast. So that was nice. In that for us, we only had a few hours of outage. The power walls covered it all, and the next day we had solar. So it worked beautifully.
Before anyone tells Patrick to put his batteries inside the garage, when you do that, depending on your regulations, especially for the National Electric Code, you need to then put up bollards, and then you lose pretty much all parking space if your garage wasn't constructed to have these guys inside the garage.
Right. Yes. And that's exactly off of Tesla's website. They prefer to have them inside, but you can have them outside as long as they're not in direct sun. And where ours at are between 2 houses, so they're a pretty good spot, but they do get colder. So so there you go. It worked wonderfully for me. And just if you're doing the same math that I was on how much does your home use and how many batteries do you need, add an extra 10 or 15% to that for battery conditioning, and there you go. In
Unless
fact,
you could put them in the basement or something.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll give a plug because I collected a bunch of data during this event, and that's my latest blog post is the Valentine's Day blackout and how our power walls performed during that. And you can find that at cardswithcords.net, where I did all the math of how much did we use, how much did we lose, how much did I expect it to be, and why it wasn't that way, and yeah.
Do you mention what devices you were running?
I do talk about running around and unplugging a bunch of non-essentials, but no, I didn't go into detail. One big thing for my house, we have a koi pond, and that has a 400-watt pump, and most homes are running a total of 800-watt. So that's 50% of a normal house load. And then it was funny because I'm turning off lights and I'm unplugging things, like we have a Roomba and it's charging. That doesn't need to charge during this. I unplug that. But like my daughter has a leopard gecko, and it has to have a heating pad. So I want to keep that going. And in fact, I bought a portable battery so that if we had to evacuate, that I could plug that in so that her gecko didn't freeze during transport. And she also has a betta fish, and so that it could be plugged in as well. And so we were prepared for this. We were anticipating it. We had bottled water. I won't go as far as to say that we're preppers, but we were ready. We have just a little bit
Prepper light.
Yeah. So the Red Cross says you should be able to live on your own for 3 days. So that was my goal, is to have 3 days worth of food, 3 days worth of water. I only had 24 hours worth of power, which I turned out to actually only be 18 hours worth of power. But if we have some sun, that stretches out to give us some more. And then we have the sucky part about even though I have a natural gas furnace, if the electricity is out, the furnace will not run. Why? Because it has fans. And so the cool thing is that the fans are a relatively small amount of energy, and the furnace provides the heat through natural gas. And so if I had gone through and really scrutinized and turned off a lot more things, I could have stretched that time out even longer, but it worked out that I didn't need to.
I'm going to wrap up on this one But the reasons why I asked that is not just for my education, although I love being educated by these guys, but also to point out that even with these measures, you still need a properly functioning society and a properly functioning grid. So the investment is worth it, even if you have solar and you got your real 24-hour power walls and everything else. And it's a good thing to do it.
You can actually get these batteries at the community level as long as it's not illegal in your area. You could plunk down 2 or 3 modules of them, and your community can run off of them if that was something you guys wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Georgia, thank you so much, and Patrick and Casey and everybody for their contributions. It was it's certainly an interesting thing to look at. Texas, it's a car crash, to say the least.
That's sad. Yes, true.
Yeah, and we at least on this show, except for a small handful of people, we really don't like seeing people suffer. There's a few that can suffer, but not Texas in general. Maybe just Governor Abbott, Senator Cruz, Yeah, okay. Anyway.
There was a particular mayor who was a big jerk in all this. Who could also...
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next week. Anyway, let's do some shout outs and go home since we have hit our time thing. Paul, can I start with you, sir?
Sure.
Thank you.
As usual, if you're in Colorado, have a hybrid or EV, check us out, boulderhc.com for repairs and service. If you want to buy a used hybrid or EV, boulderh.com. That's what I got.
I bought my car from Paul, and I live in California. How many times would you commute? What is that, like 1,000 miles? I don't know. It's not that many. Like 800
a lot.
maybe. It's a lot. Well worth the commute. I still love my Prius. Mr. Connor.
Hello. I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And I also write occasionally at carswithcords.net. Stay warm, stay safe. I hope you all heed those warnings about not poisoning yourself with CO2 in your home. Do whatever you need to stay warm.
Yeah, but don't light the barbecue grill in the house.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Even if you've fashioned a very handy chimney for it, don't do it. Casey Green.
Well, on the channel, I've got a couple of new videos for you, including that 8K 360 that I told you about before the show started. I'm in the middle of editing down the latest deep dive video for the latest Tesla software update. They say minor fixes, but I found that they've still yet changed some stuff that you can actually see as an end user. So go to youtube.com/CaseyGreen. In a couple of hours or days, you'll see that video there, and you can see what those cheeky little folks hid in the software.
There you go. Visit Casey and subscribe to his site. Mr. Coughlin.
I'm with the Waterloo Region Electric Vehicle Association. You can visit us at WREVA Group on Twitter. You can also follow our Tesla Life group at the Tesla Life. So feel free to follow us there and see what's going on every day in the Tesla Life.
A must follow on Twitter, says Russell.
Says Russell.
What the hell's wrong with me? Georgia McKenzie. Your turn.
Thanks, you guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us for yet another hour. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that button. Go on ahead. You want to do this. And while you're at it, check out Tesla Life. Check out Casey. Because you know what? They bring some great content for you. They've got it right there. Just hit like and subscribe for them too. And stay safe if you're in the South and you're dealing with this cold. I am so sorry. Wrap up, bundle up, have lots of hot tea, and don't forget that, pets are a source of body heat. Yeah.
Snuggle with your kitty.
Yeah. Just snuggle up with somebody. Open up a book, light a candle. Make sure that you've got good ventilation, though, because you do not want that carbon dioxide filling up. And stay safe. You're going to get out of this.
There you go. Thank you so much, Georgia, for that. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for the theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy his music anywhere you find it. That's Michael Manring. Thank you so much for that. I want to thank Georgia McKenzie, Paul Guzik, Casey Green, Mark Coughlin, and the man I destroyed yesterday on it. No, I did not. I'm not even going to finish that fake ass sentence because we had a great conversation that didn't go the way most people are going to think it went.
I totally agree. I'm included in most. It was a good.
You're not bringing out weapons.
We had a very good discussion. We don't agree on some stuff, and we do agree on other things. So when that membership option peers up, $1.99 a month, less than $2, you can help support the show and see really cool exclusive content. We encourage you.
So to get there, you scroll down, you see the join button, click that, then go to the community tab, and you'll then see the video will be available to you.
There you go. Casey knows because he's exercised this option, and he was kind enough to walk me through setting it up on the site. So we are super happy about that. As always, we do the show for you, so thank you so much for watching. Download us next week and find out what drives us. Dramatic pause, dramatic pause.
That was not a stroke. That was a dramatic pause.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.